player ratings, and we're going to go through all the players yesterday and give our ratings and see how we think the players performed. First up, we are going to go with Vicario and 4s all round. I mean, it was a difficult day for Vicario again, unfortunately. For me, the goal, I'm sorry, he has to do better. I know I'm going to give him a bit of grace because there was a header from one of the Wolves defenders, and then it kind of goes just past a defender who's standing right in front of Vicario. I think Vicario thinks that defender is going to touch the ball, and then he doesn't, which leads to Vicario diving rather than literally just... He could have literally just caught it because the ball was moving quite slowly. So, like, if there was no defender there, I think Vicario catches it. He just stands and catches it. But because there was a defender right in front of him, that leads to Vicario thinking he's going to touch it, which leads to him diving to the ball rather than just catching it, because he thinks he's going to have to react to this player touching the ball. That leads to him weakly palming it out, hits Paulinho, then it falls back to Bueno, and obviously it's 1-0. But I think he just panicked a bit, unfortunately. I have a bit of sympathy for him in that situation because that defender caused a bit of confusion for him. But still, he'll look at that thinking, surely he has to do better. And as well, he panicked a lot with his kicking yesterday. Oh. And I think, 2 or 3 times it went straight out of play. I did hear a few groans on the third occasion it went out of play, or second occasion that the ball went out of play. I could hear on headphones, there was a few groans in the crowd with him. So off the back of last week against Brighton, where he made a poor mistake for me for the second goal, not a good couple of weeks for Vicario.
No, I mean, I'll get onto the distribution after. What I will say with your replay of yesterday's goal, the one thing that I had a problem with, I didn't really see the developer, is if you're going to parry that, you've got to parry it away, not out, away from the danger, even if you turn it around for another corner. But he parried it, obviously Paulinho being there, but that could have been where Paulinho was. That easily could have been a Wolves striker or a Wolves defender. You've got to parry it away from danger. As for his distribution, it is shocking. It is shockingly bad. Not only was he started putting pressure on us with some of his short passing. Obviously, Frank has used goalkeepers where distribution is a very key factor of their game and being comfortable on the ball. He really isn't. He really... We were talking, yes, it was Doncaster, but when Kinski was in goal, there was no concern about him playing out with the ball. It was shocking. There was the one that he did that he just came out to kick it and he just sliced it into the West Stand. I was like, what did you do? Everyone was wide over here. And sometimes it's the speed that he gets rid of the ball. Even when he's got the ball in his arms, get it out and get the ball moving quickly. It was a poor day at the office for him.
Yeah, and I do feel like most of the distribution problems came when he was obviously being rushed a bit, and he was forced to play a pass under pressure. But still, I mean, he just caused panic, didn't he? He just caused a bit of panic. All right, next up, Jed Spence. Both gave him a 6. I thought first half he was okay. I thought he was doing well was he was supporting Kudus in dragging a few defenders away and leaving Kudus in kind of a lot of one-on-one situations. I like that. I like that a lot. He was just a bit relentless getting forward. Didn't offer too much crossing-wise or anything like that, unfortunately, or quality when it came to getting deliveries in the box. Some of his long passes, a bit mixed, some good, some bad. I don't think he played badly, but I think we saw a bit of a difference when Porro came on. He just had a little bit more quality, albeit we didn't change too much. But I liked what Porro offered a bit more. I thought he was okay, but nothing special.
Yeah, I can't really add more to that. I think we're seeing the difference of him being left back and right back. It's him getting used to being in that right back position again. His pace and strength is always there. His one-on-one defending and seeing the ball out of play and everything was spot on, but there's just something missing from him on the right side as opposed to the left.
Yeah, I think I think it's about a lot of it is about him just getting used to the different positions and not cutting inside all the time like he does on the left hand side. Next up, Cuti Romero. I gave him a 7. Brian gives him a 6. I actually thought he had a pretty good game by and large for most of it, especially that first half. You know, Strand Larsen was really a non-event really throughout the game. I thought Cuti really dominated. One mark down for Cuti was the fact that just before the corner that led to the goal, he was charging down the opposition keeper and he was like playing up front really unnecessarily. I don't know why. Sometimes he just gets in his head, I'm going to go for it. And look, I don't mind it because sometimes it causes chaos, but I mean, it can be frustrating when, you know, they played around him, Wolves, and all of a sudden they were in on our back line without Romero. Then Bentancur was forced to fill in and give away a corner. So that was a bit frustrating. But I thought his passing, especially in that first half, was fantastic again. Defensively, yeah, pretty good.
So I marked him down for exactly the example you just gave. Plus, you've just mentioned his passing. In the second half, it got very poor. He got short passes. Short passes were overhit. And just not one of his brightest days for me that I saw there. But I can understand why you gave him a 7. But I personally gave him a 6.
Next up, Van der Ven. Both gave him 7s. A pretty solid display for Mickey. Again, he was a big part of why Strand Larsen was kept quiet. Second half, I felt he was a bit more stretched than he was in the first half, where he had kind of had it all under control, it felt. He went on that little bit of a charge late in the game as well, which ended up earning a throw. But, yeah, pretty good.
So, for me, watching him, obviously, he's my favourite player by country mile. It's the first time I've seen him live where he's just defended, not last line of defence and have to make the... And he was just superb in the first half. He was superb in the first half. Didn't really get a look in or as influential in the second half, but just watching him and the way he defends now in this kind of new style of defending under Thomas Frank, I just thought he was very, very, very good. So 7 for me.
Next up, Destiny Doggy. I gave him a 7. Brian gives him a 6. I thought first half he was brilliant yet again. Although there was one moment which really frustrated me. He played a brilliant 1-2 with Richarlison, gets in behind, and he had 2 options in the box. If he would have just played it early, they were both free.
Yep.
And he just delayed, and ended up having the cross blocked. So that was really annoying. But I thought he dominated down that side. I thought he was, again, really threatening, getting to the byline, linking up really well with Xavi. So really happy with him in the first half. Second half, not as good. Still, I would, look, he wasn't bad, but obviously I feel like first half he was like an 8. Second half was maybe a 6, so I gave him a 7.
Well, I was going to give him a 7. There's only, I think, 3 players I actually gave a 7 to. If I was to give a 4th, it would have been to Destiny. Defensively, it was completely sound. Going forward, it was very, very good, apart from that you just mentioned. But then I kind of... What catered for that is that brilliant interception at the end of the first half where he came straight across to give it. Was a superb part of reading of the game and seeing the danger. Second half, and you could say it for the whole team mainly, there was just a drop-off. And he is still getting back to 100% after the brilliant performance against Brighton. First half, he was a very, very constant threat and defensively very, very sound. Second half just tailed off. 6, but if I had to give another 7, it would have been for Destiny.
Rodrigo Bentancur, I gave him a 4. Brian gives him a 5. I thought first off he was okay. I thought again he has this lack of a tendency to play the ball forward, which can get a bit frustrating. I think he was a bit sloppy as well at times, but yeah, I thought it was. I just felt there wasn't much of a need to have him and Paulinho on the team, and I felt Paulinho was better than him. I felt he was playing it a lot safer, didn't play the right passes a lot of the time, was quite frustrating, and was taken off in that second half.
Yeah. I defensively, set pieces and our set pieces attackingly, he can be incredible, but he just kept slowing the game down constantly. And he has a great performance, then a mid-performance. Then a great performance, then maybe a bad performance. Then a great performance. This is getting kind of like his contract negotiations. It's like, it's imminent, we're at the final stages, and then it goes dead again. Then it's, we're back on, and then this contract issue, I think, is, I don't know how far it's down the line, if it actually has been a problem. But yeah, yesterday, he tailed off, and apart from set-piece-wise, didn't really offer anything.
Yeah. Next up, Paulinho, we both gave him 7s. Good game, another good performance. Obviously saved the day with his goal, and that was obviously a really, really good moment for him and a really good goal. Fair play to him. Side foots it, edge of the area. And I thought in general, in the midfield, he was quite good. He was winning all those duels he does. Passing, could do with a bit of work again. We know that's not his strongest point. His passing sometimes can be a bit loose, and sometimes as well, like, he doesn't give good, like, perfect passes. He bobbles them and stuff like that. So that needs to be a bit refined. But what he offers in the middle with just that pure ability to win duels and be solid, and then obviously drag the team to that equaliser late in the game, Roy the Rovers kind of stuff. Maybe he could have been an 8 if he didn't take a shot off at the end. I don't know what he's doing, taking a shot off and celebrating like that. It's only an equaliser against Wolves. You need to get the winner. So I didn't really like that, to be honest. I understand emotion in the game and stuff, but I'm sorry, we know it's a poor performance. We know it's a poor result. We just got to get... we got to make sure we go get the ball and go for the win. If you get the winner, take your shot off all you want. Take your shorts off as well. But I think it's a bit embarrassing taking your shot off for me when you're equalising against Wolves.
So, Joe, again, watching him live for the first time, I didn't even see him play for us against Fulham, or play for Fulham against us. He is something special to watch. And what I mean by that is I spent about 5 minutes of the game where I literally remember player cam from Sky Sports.
Yeah.
I literally did Paulinho player cam. And when you're watching the game on TV and you see him come out of nowhere and make a last-ditch tackle, or I just watch to see how quickly he anticipates what's going to happen. And during that time, he just made a couple of tackles where he saw something, was like, right, this is going to... His anticipation and reading of the danger is incredible. The biggest no-brainer for me to get done in January that we would have had in a long, long, long time. A quite wonderful finish. His passing sometimes does need a little bit of work, but I think he actually can pass the ball well, but it's just a little bit off. But definitely a 7 for me. Excuse me.
Yeah. Next up, Bergvall, conflicting ratings here. I gave him a 5. Brian gives him a 7. I thought first off, decent, linked up well with Kudus, was having a fairly good game. Still could have done a bit more. He had that overhead kick as well, which went over the bar. That was a good effort. I thought he was, I don't think he was as involved as I would like him to be playing in that number 10 role. I think when he was linked up with Kudus, it was good. I would say second half, he was quite poor. And also, I have to say, when he went to the number 8 position, he struggled, I thought. He struggled. He got booked quite early on when he moved to that position. I thought Bellegarde was causing him all sorts of problems. He couldn't keep up with him. He had a really silly challenge as well, which went right through the back of Bellegarde when he didn't need to, which caused the yellow. I thought he really struggled when he moved to the 8, and that's why he was subsequently taken off. So, yeah, unfortunately, I gave him a 5.
I think he may have been taken off as well because of that yellow card. He's got a bit of Dele Alli in him for this. And it got that bite, which we all say we love to see in a player. I think in the first half he was a driving force. I thought some of his play in the first half was incredible. The only bad thing about it was that one shot that fell to him and he kind of mishit it.
Yes.
Because if he'd hit that sweep like we knew he can, that's in the back of the net 1-0. I am so impressed with Lucas Bergvall. Yes, he tired in the second half and didn't have that much effect. If he had had the impact he had in the first half that he did in the second, I would have given him an 8. But he didn't, so 7. But I'm so impressed with Lucas.
Yeah. Next up, Mohamed Kudus. I gave him a 7. Brian gives him a 6. First half, I thought he was almost like I'd give him an 8 or a 9 in that first half. He was pretty much close to unplayable in that first half. Absolutely phenomenal. So unlucky with the goal that he scored as well. Ruled offside. I mean, obviously he's offside, but brilliantly worked and a brilliant finish. Really unlucky. Obviously hit the bar. That one he obviously could have done better with. He'll be frustrated with that moment because should have given Johnston no chance. Obviously, he gave him a little chance. He tipped it onto the bar. Should have finished it, but good movement off the ball. I think Bueno in that first half will be having absolute nightmares about him because he couldn't get near Kudus. And Kudus, every time he got there, was causing problems, creating chances. And he was unlucky, really unlucky, not to end that half without a goal or an assist. Forced that really good save out of Johnson as well with a good effort, cutting inside and shooting.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he was brilliant in the first half, I felt. Kudus, absolutely brilliant. Wasn't just taking people on, but also had quality. But second half, he was probably as bad as he was good in the first half. Didn't have any joy on that wide. Went to the left-hand side, was really, really poor. Didn't have any joy. Went to the middle, didn't get involved in the game. It was a bit of an anonymous second half from Kudus, unfortunately. So I gave him a 7 because I think he was that good in the first half, but second half he was terrible.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more in the first half. The only reason I gave him a mark down is when Simmons is off, when you are like the main source of creativity, like the most recognised, in a game that we need to grab by the scruff of the neck, you need to come for the ball and get it and try and get on the ball as much as possible. And if it's not happening for you when you're on the left, come in just a little bit or go back. Just try something, because you can grab the ball, run, weave past people, potentially score like the great goal that was disallowed for offside, or create something special. And it was like he was waiting for the ball to come to him rather than him saying, listen, give me the goddamn ball. I'm going to make something happen. I'm the main creator on this pitch now. And he just didn't. But the first half, like I said, first touch, subliminal, bag of tricks, power, scaring the life out of them. But in the second half, I just wanted more from him because he was like the main avenue of creativity.
Yeah. Next up was Charlotte, and I gave him a 5. Brian gives him a 4. Yeah, I mean, difficult day for him. Second half especially was largely anonymous. He had that one header, I think, from a Porro cross, and Porro played this one ball early to him over the top, but he had 3 defenders on him and he got snuffed out. First half, I mean, he had some moments. I thought his hold-up play was okay, but he had some moments. There was one moment to play Kudus in on goal. He got the pass wrong. Kudus as well, outside of the boot pass, nearly finds him at the back post, but just stretching, couldn't quite get there. Didn't have too many other opportunities, did he, Richarlison? I don't remember too many opportunities really had. Difficult day for him. I think it was more of a supply issue than him, because I actually think when he was getting close to the ball and getting some possession, he was okay. But yeah, I think unfortunately wasn't his day.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors I look at this with this for. It's like, do I cut him some slack because he's only our fit striker and he's playing every single game? We know his record with injuries and we know his fitness issues. Then I'm looking at it, for a big guy, and he is a unit, he's on the floor all the time. He's on the floor at the slightest touch, which kept stopping and starting the game. Then you look at the Burnley game and Manchester City game, we were giving him service, or we were pressing, and it was giving him, he was having a major input. If we're not doing that, and we need, you have another forward up there, Solanke could hold it up, or Mawani could hopefully spin and use his pace. He just doesn't offer anything. And listen, I know he's a goal scorer and he was there to score goals and he needs to get in the box, and you're right about the supply, but I'm sure sometimes that his football boot sponsors are bouncy castles, because his first touch is appalling. But again, like you said, there's no supply coming to him, but he's got to offer more, hasn't he? He's got to.
Next up, Xavi Simons. Both gave him 5. Another difficult day for him, to be honest. I thought a lot of what he didn't go right, albeit very unlucky not to have an assist, because that ball to Kudus when he hit the bar was fantastic. Phenomenal pass, and that obviously should have ended with an assist for him. That's obviously the quality he offers. As well, they were forcing him a lot, bringing him down. He was forcing a lot of fouls, a lot of free kicks. So they resorted a lot to fouling him, to stopping him. But as well, second half, difficult for him to get involved in the game. I think he really struggled to impact the game in the second half. And the first half, there was some good stuff, but also a couple of times he switched the ball to Kudus and got it wrong and went out of play. And as well, there was another moment where Romero does a beautiful switch of play to him, and he just takes his eye off the ball and miscontrols it and went out for a throw. So a bit of sloppy play from him yesterday. Wasn't a great day, but even on a bad day for him like yesterday, should have had an assist.
Yeah, I mean, he started the game very brightly. Now, I haven't seen it back. He picked up a yellow card for a tackle that looked like he got the ball.
Yeah, I thought he got the ball as well, but on replay, he was a foul.
It was what? Okay,
Yeah.
so it was a foul. So he's picked up that yellow card, and he just kept cut. One thing I did notice is there was a couple of passes that he overhit, and they went out for throw-ins. He needs to be in the centre. He started so brightly, and some of his corners are right on the money. But yeah, just a challenging day for him. And you know what, we've got to give him a bit of time to settle in. Obviously, he's playing out on the left when we really want to see him on the centre. But yeah, he wasn't firing on all cylinders, let's say that.
What also I think being in the centre would do for him is, I feel like him on the left, it's quite predictable when where he's picking up the ball and where he wants to go. At least when he's in the centre. I know he prefers that left-hand side, so he's cutting in, but if you put him in the centre and have a left winger there, it gives him the licence to have that freedom. Could he go to the right? Could he drop off to the left and have a little bit of the movement and a bit of that freedom, and makes him a bit more unpredictable. Right, whereas when he's on the left, he's quite a predictable player, I feel, and that can be quite frustrating.
Yep.
Next up, Pedro Porro. I gave him a 6. Brian gives him a 5. I thought he made a decent impact when he came on. Added a bit more kind of quality from deep and a bit better in the build-up, and obviously some really decent long passing. Some of his crosses, some good, some not so good from Porro. Obviously, he didn't have the desired impact, but I thought it was okay when he came on.
Yeah, he came in up. Porro's my second favourite player. He certainly did try to get forward. He certainly had one idea in his mind and was scared forward, but his delivery, that's what I found that was off from him for what he usually can deliver. So that's why I gave him the 5. But you know what? We said he needed a rest. Now you look back in hindsight, would you say you would have rather he started?
Yeah, maybe he got it wrong. Maybe he should have done Spencer and the dog against Doncaster and Porro in this one. Maybe. Next up is Johnson. I don't think we both gave him
we
7s.
didn't give him a 7. I certainly didn't give him a 7.
I think I gave him a 4.
I gave Johnson.
Anyway,
5.
5. I gave him a 4. What was frustrating about Brennan was he came on and came off the right-hand side. Didn't really impact the game in a great way. And the difference between him and Kudus was, you give it to Kudus and he can turn, he can take on his man and make things happen. It felt like when Porro was linking up with Johnson, Porro would give the ball to Johnson and then try and overlap him. And because Johnson had a defender in front of him, he didn't want to turn and even pass it down the line or take him on. So it meant that he would pick up the ball, Porro would go ahead of him, and because he didn't want to turn, he would then end up dribbling backwards.
Yep.
And he did that a few times, and it kind of killed a lot of our moves, and Porro was left stranded in the opposition half because he's trying to overlap Johnson, but Johnson's not looking to turn and play forward because he's too scared. That was a problem.
Yep.
Didn't really have too many offensive actions, I remember, Johnson, where he either nearly scored or nearly assisted or anything like that. And I have a problem with Johnson in these kind of games where you're against a low block and you're not offering a lot of space. Those are games I think Johnson does struggle in, unless he's kind of ghosting in unnoticed. But then that means, he's not being creative, but he can kind of get in the positions to finish moves. But I feel like if you're asking him to be creative like we were yesterday, it's not working.
Yeah, but there was one attacking move that got huge groans, where again, like he was doing at Bournemouth, we were heavily going forward, and he overhit a pass that went out for a goal kick when someone was trying to run inside. Was it? I can't remember who it was, but someone, it may have been Porro, trying to run inside towards the penalty area, and he just overhit it. It went out for a goal kick, and it was like. But everything else he did, like you said, we worked the ball from left to right, right to left, and as soon as he got to Johnson, all he did was dribble back and either pass it sideways or back to Vicario. But he just didn't have long enough for me to give anything above a 5 or below a 5. So that 5 is where I stood.
Wilson Odebear, I gave him a 4. Brian gives him a 5. Another disappointing. I wouldn't say another disappointing cameo for him, but I just thought it was a disappointing cameo. Unfortunately, came on, had very little effect on the game. Wasn't able to beat his man on too many occasions. Wasn't able to create too many opportunities. Was quite wasteful. Wasn't great from Odebear.
Yeah, the same reason I gave Johnson a 5. Didn't come on long enough. Didn't have an impact. Did nothing terribly wrong to mark down, and did, unfortunately, nothing really positive to mark up.
Mate Sarr, we both give him 6s. I thought he was pretty decent when he came on. I thought he did impact the game quite positively. Got an assist for Paulinia's goal as well. I thought he did all right, actually. Mate Sarr, fair play to him. Decent cameo.
I think this may be people think I'm overreacting or anything, but I don't think the assist is being spoken about highly enough. That ball was fizzed in by Tell at such a rate. And you know how we say when players come on, shouldn't take penalties straight away. They got to get whooped. He's only been on a little while to stop that ball and get it rolling perfectly for Paulinho to take that shot on. Which, let's face it, he only had one chance of that shot and had to take it. I think that piece of play was incredible. I was even toying giving him a 7 just for the assist. I think it was that good the way he got that ball but down under control and back to Paulinho. But it's good to see him back, most importantly, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I thought added a bit of energy when we needed it as well.
Yep.
Fair play to him. And lastly, Matisse Tell, I gave him a 6. Brian gives him a 5. Obviously, he only had about 10 minutes or a bit less on the pitch. I thought it did all right, to be honest. I thought it did a bit more of an Odebear. It was his ball that led to Sarr laying off to Paulinho, which obviously got the goal. Fair play. I thought Patel was okay. I mean, didn't do too much, but obviously was just involved in the goal.
Yeah, he fizzed that shot in, but at that point, the lateness he came on, I find unless you do score a goal or have a huge impact, it's hard to, I've stuck true with all the subs, and 5 for me.
And lastly, the manager, I gave him a 4, Brian gives him a 6. I just thought he got it wrong yesterday. I thought the lineup could have been better. I thought the tactics could have been better in the second half as well. I thought he got them woefully wrong. I just felt it was a bad day in the office for Frank, albeit in his defence, you would say, could we have been 1 or 2-0 up in the first half and then all of a sudden a different conversation? But I actually thought he got out tacticked by Pereira yesterday, and it was just about a poor day for him.
So I agree with you, and I don't agree with you in the same time. So I see where you come from and everything you said, but do you know what? And I know we said this a lot last season, and you said this a few times. Like, did Thomas Frank tell him to pass the ball that way? Did Thomas Frank tell him not to hold it? Second half, yes, Frank got it wrong tactically, but some of the passing and play from Tottenham Hotspur, the players, is not acceptable. It's not how they should be playing. They've come up against different formations all their career. They should be able to pass the ball 5 yards, 10 yards. We were just giving the ball away stupidly. I do think Frank got it wrong tactically. There's no question there, or no qualms from me. I've got no problem saying Frank got that wrong. But I do think the performance in the second half, yes, Wolves made the change, but Spurs may have been out-tacticked formationally, but the Spurs players themselves should have been able to pass the ball better to each other. And one thing that was really poor with it is when it came to throw-ins and stuff like that. The lack of movement to get the ball, and the lack of movement when players were on the ball, when you're seeing it live and you see all the whole pitch, that's not a Thomas Frank thing. That's the Spurs players thing. So, bad day at the office, but a 6 for me.
All right. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of the ratings we gave. Did you agree or disagree with what we gave the players or the manager? Let me know in the comment section below what you thought.